It is 3 o'clock Tuesday, September 2nd, 2025. I'll call this meeting to order. The Board of Public Works and City Council Chambers in Peru, Indiana. We have a roll call, please.
Don Sturch.
Here.
Eric McCoy.
Here.
Bruce Carson.
Here.
First item is the reading and approving of the minutes from our August 19th, 2025 meeting.
I would move we suspend the rules for the reading and accept the minutes as written.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Moving to approval of claims. First is payment of claims from September 2nd in the amount of $362,641.57. Any discussion regarding payment of claims?
I would move that we approve the payment of claims dated September 2nd for the amount of $362,641.57.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is the regular and monthly payroll dated August 22nd. The amount $252,057.43. Any discussion regarding regular and monthly payroll?
I would move we approve the payment of the regular and monthly payroll dated August 22nd in the amount of $252,057.43.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next item is correction of payroll fire department overtime dated August 22nd, the amount of $2,003.94. Discussion regarding correction of payroll for fire department overtime.
I would move we approve the payment of the approved payment for the correction of the payroll for the fire department overtime dated August 22nd in the amount of $2,003.94.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item is pension payroll dated August 22nd, the amount of $90,885.85. Any discussion regarding pension payroll?
I would move we approve the payment of the pension payroll dated August 22nd in the amount of $90,885.85.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving to old business, seeing none, we'll move to new business. First item is a request by Chief Dane that firefighter Lucas Hopwood be placed on permanent status with the Peru Fire Department. Chief?
Yes, thank you. Coming to you today, Lucas Hopwood. I'm requesting that your approval that Lucas Hopwood be placed on permanent status with the Peru Fire Department. He has completed and successfully passed all the required training and evaluations in his first year. He is a member of our Swift Water team, a National Registered EMT, and holds the certifications of Firefighter 1 and 2. I ask for your approval to move him to permanent status.
Any questions or comments for the chief regarding this request?
Is a national registered EMT different than?
All of our newer EMTs are national registered. They have to take a national registry test
Oh, okay.
now. Just a little bit above and beyond state certification. It's the test that they take to finish their EMT class now.
I would make a motion that we approve Chief's request to move Lucas Hopwood to permanent status with the Peru Fire Department.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Chief. Next item under new business is a request by Chief Dane for the extension of the mandatory probation of firefighters Tristan Working and Caleb Bragg.
Yes, along with the approval of Lucas, he has finished all of his training and came to us as an EMT, so that helped him get through it in his first year. We currently have 4 of our newest firefighters going through EMT class. These 2 are affected because they would be coming off probation. Tristan would be this month, and Caleb would be in about 3 months, I believe. But anyway, statute requires that if you're going to extend their probation, I have to come back to the Board of Works and ask that we extend their probation until they meet their requirements. So basically, I'm requesting that you extend the mandatory probation of firefighters Tristan Working and Caleb Bragg. They are both currently taking EMT classes, but will not be eligible for permanent status by the end of their probationary period. The EMT class is scheduled to be completed before the end of 2025. So once they complete and pass that class, then I'll come back and recommend them for permanent status.
So how long would they be in the probationary status at that point?
Approximately about 1.5 years, which isn't unusual. If you remember, we changed back to our year probation from 2 years because it was against state law that we couldn't hold them to a 2-year probation. It was done by a previous administration, so we put it back to 1 year, but the requirement is when they sign up, they have to do all their required training to come off probation.
Is there anything else that affects them remaining on probationary status for longer than 1 year?
No, they still have their full benefits. They still are on our vacation schedule. Their pay has not been cut or anything like that. So once they get their year on, they'll still come into, after they get their year on, they'll get their clothing allowance and any of the additional pays that they're supposed to get. So it doesn't affect any of that.
This extension is strictly because of the EMT classes?
Yes. Yeah, they have not completed yet, so they have not completed all their mandatories to come off of probation. So
Is that any fault of their own?
it is not, but throughout the years, we've had numerous times where people's probations have gotten extended because of either EMT or Fire 1 and 2 could not be completed in that year's time
Okay.
frame. I myself was almost 2.5 years on probation, waiting on an EMT class, so.
And look at you now.
Who figured, right? So,
I was just curious, I think the first time I've been involved in an extension of the firefighters, but
yes.
I certainly understand the reason for it.
Yeah, we're just trying to do it by the book. I mean, I could have just left them on probation and then, come over and put them on status, but we want to be above board. And actually, if I did not extend this, then they could say, hey, I've served my year, and then we'd have to go back to the rules and regs they signed for that clearly states they have to, finish everything to come off probation.
Okay.
So it doesn't affect pay or anything?
Doesn't affect pay or
What
anything.
does it affect?
Basically, within your first year, you're kind of, I want to call it an at-will employee.
Yeah.
Once you get your year on, and then you have the benefit of, us like the police department, they serve a year's probation just to make sure they get through all their training and everything. In years way past, there were people that came on the fire department and didn't finish their EMT, and they finished their year's probation, they let them off probation. They couldn't make them go back and get it because they hadn't finished it, so. So this is kind of you're going to finish your stuff we want you to do.
Okay. Any more questions from the board for Chief regarding this request? If not, I would make a motion that we approve Chief Dane's request for extending the mandatory probation of firefighters Tristan Working and Caleb Bragg.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
The next item on our agenda is a request by Laura Rush, Peru Junior Senior High, requesting a police escort for homecoming parade on September 12th. Parade will start at 6:15 p.m. at the depot and travel down Broadway to Daniel Street and then to the stadium. Do we have a representative here?
She is not here.
She is not here.
Her classes probably are over in about 2 minutes.
Okay. Have we done this before? Didn't we do it last year?
Yes.
We did.
This pretty much every year.
Okay. The question that I had to do with traffic control on Daniel Street. Once, if we get the police escort to Daniel Street and then turn east on Daniels, you still have traffic coming off of East 9th onto Elm, turning to go back to the west. I mean, how did you prepare for that, Todd? How did you arrange that?
We've never, I figured the guys just pulled a car across, didn't
Yeah, usually EMA is generally there, fire department's usually there, ambulance, so we'll escort them down Daniel Street to the entrance into the stadium,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll block off all traffic going east and west on Daniel Street until the entire, it's a very, very short procession.
Right.
So we'll generally just block that off to all traffic until they're successfully in there when they arrive.
So there's no detour at Tippecanoe and 9th
No.
to not let them on to
Because
Elm and
it's a very
Daniels?
short period of time.
Okay.
I would estimate 5 minutes or less that we
Yeah.
shut that street down.
Mhm. Did we receive a certificate of insurance with this request?
It's upstairs, yes.
Okay. And do you know if they have a rain delay? If it rains, they won't do it, or it's just, okay,
Yeah, they've done it in the rain before.
okay. Any questions from the board regarding this request?
Once it gets to Daniels, it's more just, they're just trying to get to the stadium. It's not really a parade anymore. Yeah. They're not throwing out candy
Well,
or
I mean, some
anything.
of the
No.
floats will still go in.
Yeah.
They're kind of in front of the stands in the stadium, or at least they used to before they redid the track. But yeah, it's mostly just to get them into the stadium.
But they're just trying to get there as quick as they can once they get off Broadway.
The request says that they will have a band leading the parade, followed by cheerleaders, 6 convertibles, and 4 floats. Okay. Any more comments, discussion, questions from the board? Anything from police chief, fire chief, or traffic? I would make the motion then that we approve the request by Laura Rush for police escort from the homecoming parade on September 12th.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item on the agenda is a request by the Miami County Republican Party requesting closure of Fremont from West Main to West 3rd Street on October 11th for a chicken and noodle dinner with drive-through services. It says on the request that this will be exactly the same as the St. John's Lutheran noodle dinner. So I know we've done that before, so you know where the barricades would have to be positioned
Yes.
to allow for this. Do we get a certificate of insurance?
Yes, we have one.
Thank you. Comments or questions from the board?
Mm,
And I would make the motion to approve the request by the Miami County Republican Party for the closure of Fremont from West Main to West 3rd, October 11th for the chicken noodle dinner.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next item on our agenda is a request from Dustin Smith of the Abundant Life Church requesting closure of Benton Street from Canal Street to 2nd Street on the night of October 31st from 3 to 9 p.m. for their annual trunk or treat event. Could you come forward, please?
Yeah.
So we could ask you some questions. And for the record, your name?
Dustin Smith?
Dustin, this is the first time that Abundant Life Church has made this request?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, first time,
And you do a trunk or treat every year?
every year.
And your reason for the request?
Well, over the years, it's gotten larger. We've had more families and kids come to the campus. And one thing that's different between our campus and the Kokomo campus is that we're in the middle of a neighborhood, and they're not. So we have a lot of families that come from all different directions. To be honest with you, I almost get, panic attack, seeing the kids come across, and it's dark outside, and cars are coming up and down that street. Makes me nervous wreck, when that happens. But then also just because it's grown so much, it would help us to expand, more into that street in front of our church building. It would just help us out a lot. Just with safety, one, for the kids and the families coming from the neighborhoods around, and number two, to be able to expand a little bit more into the street area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Todd, questions?
You just wanna close Benton at the south, 2nd Street's here.
Yes.
So you wanna close off so they can detour down.
Detour down. Yep. We thought that'd probably be the best. That wouldn't, make too much confusion. And they'd be able to cut down the other street and go around. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll put lights on the barricades.
Okay.
So it would be shut down from basically the south side of 2nd Street, Benton Street, down to the north side of Canal, so we could still travel Canal Street and 2nd. Any neighbors impacted that we need to, that you need to notify, Dustin, that you're aware of?
The only thing I can think of is that one house there on the corner, but they'll have access off of Canal and their alley.
And the alley.
And they should.
There
So-
is one alley that kind of tees into
Yeah.
that.
We'll have to barricade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be helpful to just advise the neighbors there that this is going to be occurring, so that they don't plan to park or travel on
Yeah.
that section of Benton Street. Chief
Yeah, I know a
Bella?
couple of those neighbors right there that their, kids go to the church or whatever, and I can communicate to them as well.
Okay,
That we'd be doing that
Yeah,
night.
the one house, they have to park on either Canal or in the alley garage. 'Cause that's, the lane's too close, there's no parking right in that section of the.
Okay.
So you may or may not have cars parked on Benton Street?
Oh, you mean like our trunk or treat cars? Yeah, we probably, we're deciding that. We're trying to figure that out right now. It would help to have some of those cars, from the trunk or treat, be parked, out on there. It just depends on how many we get. We know that's been growing over the last, 5 years that we've been there. Yeah. But more than anything, it's the kids and the families that are walking across the street. It's pretty chaotic, to be honest with you.
Chief
especially
Feller,
at night.
Chief Dane?
Yeah, not one of our major thoroughfares.
Right, and Dustin, one of the things that we always want to make sure is understood that we still have to maintain some safety avenue in there if for some reason we had to access that street. I think understanding how you're going to set it up would be helpful, at least to police and fire.
Okay.
If you're going to completely block that section of Benton, certainly we need to be well aware of that in case
Okay.
there's an emergency run in that area.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Okay.
One of the other things that we require is a certificate of insurance, which I'm sure you can get through the church. And
Yeah, we gave it to
have
them.
it? Okay.
Mhm.
Questions from the board? Comments?
As far as accessing the lot for the event, is the primary entrance then going to be off Canal?
Off Canal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah, we.
entrance and exit?
Yeah, we're, the utilities across the street, they allow us to use their parking lot. So we really, our first idea was to try to do Canal, but then we started thinking even fire. I know that's a main, thoroughfare there. And then also that would block our access for the extra parking. So, yeah, we decided on the street that we chose, probably be best. So all the parking will go down to the back of our building and then over across the street in utility.
Okay. Any more questions? If not, I would make a motion that we approve the request as submitted for Abundant Life Church to close Benton Street from Canal Street to 2nd Street on the night of October 31st from 3 to 9 for their annual trunk or treat event.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thanks, Mayor. Thanks, Council.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is request by Chief Feller for the approval of the following Peru Police Department policies. Policy 507, sobriety checkpoint. Policy 508, traffic crash review board. Policy 509, traffic procedures. Policy 600, investigation and prosecution. Policy 601, sexual assault investigations.
Good afternoon.
Chief.
Back again. These are all pretty self-explanatory. I will note that policy 507 for sobriety checkpoints and 508 for the traffic crash review board are both currently existing policy in our current manual. The only reason it's coming here is because they're going to be, reclassified with numbers to go into our new policy manual. So there are absolutely no changes there. It's just really, I suppose, reaffirming those two. The others for traffic procedures more has to do with things like putting on our high visibility traffic vests when we're out directing traffic, around crashes or some other things that are required by federal law. And then investigation, prosecution, and sexual assault investigations are new, effectively just outlining, quite frankly, what we should be doing anyway. So nothing earth-shattering here today, but I'm happy to entertain any questions you may have.
As I was reading through these and the sobriety checkpoint 507 policy, and I don't think I saw it in here anywhere, but just as a general comment, is it required that the officers have body-worn cameras to
Yes.
record the interaction with
Yes.
the person you're pulling over?
Yes, they are required anyway for any interaction that they have.
Okay.
That's law enforcement related, has to be recorded with their body-worn cameras. So that would be no exception for sobriety checkpoint.
Okay, thank you. Questions from the board? Comments?
Mayor, I'd like to ask a question.
Yes, sir.
Chief, how many designated sobriety checkpoints are there, and who determines how many there are? And when are those become effective? Is it during like seasonal things, or?
So it's been several years since we've had any sobriety checkpoints. Most of those are governed by funding that we get from the Indiana Criminal Justice Institute. So it coincides generally with an operation pullover or the click it or ticket, drive sober, get pulled over campaigns. So we don't regularly do these, but when funding is available for that and specifically for those types of things, then we will occasionally have those. But it's been several years since we've had one. And we advertise those in advance. There's no secret to it. We advertise, we'll be having a sobriety checkpoint on this date. It'll be at this location, and I believe it's generally, we even list the hours that will be there. So there is absolutely no secret, or there's nothing secretive about it.
Okay, great, thanks.
Chief, you said that all interactions, I know we have the exception of drug enforcement, drug detectives and whatnot, undercover
Sure.
work. Yeah.
Correct. I mean, there are some exceptions, but generally for sobriety checkpoints, they're going to be uniformed police officers, and we expect to have law enforcement interaction, so they will have their body-worn cameras on when these things are going on.
Right. Having read through these policies put before us, that's the only question I had. I thought they seemed pretty straightforward. So I would make a motion that we approve Chief Feller's request for the following approved police department procedures: policy 507, 508, 509, 600, and 601.
I will second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Are there going to be policies 510 through 599?
There is a 510.
We've been through quite a bit. Any comments from the board? Comments from the public?
I do have another,
Yes, sir, Pete?
Mayor, can I come up?
Yes, please do.
Peter Saidachny. We had a discussion with the commissioners this morning. It was kind of interesting whether or not a homeless ordinance would be required, and I'm asking the board, maybe has the board considered if a homeless ordinance would be required, because nobody seems to know who owns the property under the bridge or along the river, and there have been cases where people have camped in those areas. So I thought it was an interesting discussion, but we didn't have a definite answer whether or not the city has the authority to evict those people who live in those areas. So I'm just asking the board, or maybe Dustin could help us maybe with that issue.
Well, along the river, a lot of that's owned by property owners that's on the south of Canal Street. However, there's a small section of property there that is owned by the county. And to answer your question on that, and the other is owned by NDOT, if I'm not mistaken. I know property under the bridge, Wayne Street Bridge in particular, that's county property, county owned.
To answer your first question, this board would not make that decision. It would come from the council if we passed an ordinance. We have investigated this and currently are working on this, Pete, to understand whose responsibility it is. When we involve the Department of Natural Resources in this particular location where we know we have some homeless people camping, they claim it's above the high water mark, so therefore it's county property. And that's kind of where the questions start arising. Is it really county property? Is it city property? Who has the responsibility to go and evict these folks? Is it the county's responsibility or the city's responsibility? So we're trying to work through that and figure out what the right avenue is, but we're aware of the problem. Yeah, thank you for bringing it up. Yeah, appreciate it. Any more comments or questions from the audience? Seeing nothing further, I would ask for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
This meeting's adjourned. Thank you.